Welcome to the Edges of Earth. My name is Brock. This is definitely not a story that I want to tell you, but I'm going to get ready, sit down, grab some popcorn, because I think this is going to be a bit of a long, drawn-out story with no fun footage to watch. It's just going to be a story of me explaining what happened. So I currently live in a place called Madurai, India. I've been waiting here for a very long time. My flights are canceled because it's in the middle of the pandemic, and I literally have been stuck here for a very, very, very long time. I recently moved to the city to be closer to the airport and to also have better access to internet. Anyway, I'm here, I love it. So many cool places nearby to visit, so this area is relatively cool. Except for today, there was a big problem. So the river that runs through Madurai is really polluted. It's really not very clean. Especially the area that I'm living in, it's particularly dirty because it's on the other side of where they do a lot of dumping. I found if I go to the other side of the dumping area, the water is swimmable. So for the last almost 30 days, I have been swimming in that area. People there see me daily. People know who I am. I know who many people are in the area. Everything is okay. So in India, it's quite common if you go swimming, you don't really wear a swimsuit. You just take off your shirt, take off your pants, and swim in whatever you're wearing underneath that. So that's what I've been doing. That's what I did for many years in many countries. It's just normal. But while I was swimming, a man was slowly approaching, getting closer and closer. I have no idea who he is. I just assumed that he's crossing the river. The river is really wide. His angle is directly towards me, and he's getting really, really close. I asked the locals if they knew who he was. No idea. So anyway, he's getting really close, and then he starts shouting at the people nearby, and so that really got my attention, like, what's happening? Slowly I get out of the water, and out of his pouch he pulls out this huge machete. So he starts coming at me with this machete, and he raises it above his head, and at this point I am probably 10 to 12 feet away, not far at all. He could toss the knife and it would hit me. Immediately I backed away, I didn't even say anything, and I could see the moment I stepped away, he stopped for a second and he turned around. I could see he was going for my shirt and clothing because he probably knows that I have cash inside, which I only had like 100 rupees, which is like $1.50, but I did have my phone. In this split second, I'm trying to figure out what I can do. For example, if he did not have a weapon, a knife, bring it on. Like, you and me, if we tango, you're going to come out with broken bones. I can guarantee that. There are rocks everywhere, and I would have crushed his skull with a rock. But because he had a knife, I was not going to chance it. I was not going to find a stone. By the time I get one, he's closer, or if I throw and miss, he is right on top of me, and then I die from a stab wound. So I decided that the best thing to do if he has a knife is to get away as fast as possible. So that's what I did. The other two went the other way, and I was close to the shore. So there's like a wall you have to climb. I ran, kind of swam, ran over to this wall, climbed up the wall, got to the main street where cars and people are, businesses. Mind you, I'm only in my underwear, and I look at everybody nearby. There's only a few people. I shouted, so that got people's attention, and I said, "Mobile, police, anyone have a mobile, phone." Everyone has this shy look like, oh, don't look. I can't figure out why someone would look away when someone needs help. So one guy just literally gets up and awkwardly walks away, so I didn't talk to him. He was on a phone. And then I asked many people, and everyone's no, I'm running across the street in my underwear, totally wet from head to toe, and literally nobody's trying to help me. And I find one man, I said, mobile, police. And he says, yeah, okay. Through body language and a couple of English words that I knew he understood, I explained the situation. I said, one man, big knife, a thief. And they know all of those words. And I said, police. He says, oh, okay. Oh my God, it must have been 2 minutes for him to fumble the phone and figure out how to call the police. And then I said, come. The river is very, very wide. And I pointed, you could see the man swimming across the river to get back to his area. And I said, that's the man. So we watched where he went. It took about 5 minutes from the time that it happened for him to get to the other side of the river. It's very, very wide. In that amount of time, the police finally were contacted. So it took about 4 minutes of fumbling the phones to even contact the police. We've seen what two buildings he went in between, so we waited for the police to arrive. That took about 10 minutes before any police officer even showed up. Craziest thing, took forever. By that time, when the police got there, they only wanted to know who I was. They didn't even care about the thief, and we explained it to them. And now there's like a crowd gathering around me in my underwear. People were wondering what the heck's going on. And I explained a lot, plus the two that were nearby, they could explain everything in the local language also. But The police were so focused on asking me my name, my mother's name, my father's name, which country I am from, like all the stupid things that you would never care about at that moment. The focus is on the thief. Don't let him get away. Let's find him. Let's stop him. The police arrived just after the man went through the area and we couldn't see him anymore. But they're so focused on me and why I'm in India as a tourist than focusing on the problem at hand, which is so frustrating. So after about 15 or 20 minutes of talking about me, then they said, okay, let's go to your room. I said, okay, great, because in my room is my laptop. If you give me internet, I can look at the GPS signal to figure out where my phone is, and I can track him. We can go to his house and you can arrest this man. Instead of helping me in finding a shirt or pants or anything, get on the motorbike, drive all the way through the city in my underwear. Everybody's looking at me, people who recognize me from visiting that area many times. So I went through the city on the back of a police vehicle in my underwear through Madurai city. No joke, I can't make this stuff up. Finally, I go to my hotel room place, and everyone was shocked that I just walk in the door in my underwear. And the police come in, then they were nervous, like, oh my God, what's happening? And they had to explain everything. Luckily, I did laundry that day, and on the rooftop, I had one pair of pants that was washed and my shirt, so I put that on, so that's wonderful. And then I went downstairs and we explained everything. But the problem is, the key was in my pants that the thief took, and you cannot get into my door because it's a big bolt lock. They had to break the bolt lock open to get access to my room. And the first thing they wanted was my passport. I said, yeah, because the passport is in my room, no problem. I get here, no passport. I can't find it anywhere. It's always in one Ziploc bag. Nope, not there, it's gone. That's impossible. And so I'm trying to retrace my steps in my head. Where could this thing be? Because it's always in one location. And when I came to this lodge, I had to do a Xerox scan, a photocopy nearby. And I thought, maybe I left it there somehow and forgot it there, which is not normal. I am usually super organized, so that just seems really far-fetched and crazy. And then I thought, well, maybe when I came back, the man downstairs, he also had to take photos with his phone, plus take the copies. And I thought, well, maybe he put it in a drawer because it's not in my room. I searched every pocket, every place. It is not in my room. So now I just got robbed at knife point, lost my phone, and now I don't even have a passport, and I'm stuck in a country during a pandemic, and now I can't even get out. How am I going to get on a flight? So in the last 5 years of traveling the world, this is the worst day by far. No passport, no mobile, I have no internet access. Even if I try to go around here, I go to an internet cafe and use my laptop, they refuse because they think like I'm a terrorist because I have a laptop. It is the weirdest thing. You can only use their computer in their shop to do anything. So if I have files on my computer to upload to the internet, it's impossible. That's a whole nother story. So being stuck in a country without a passport during a pandemic, without internet access, without a phone to have any internet, it is like the worst upon worst scenarios. So after we get here, they gave me their hotspot on their mobile. I used my laptop, I logged into Google, I was praying, because sometimes when I sign in, Google says, we must verify it's you by your mobile, and then a pop-up comes to your mobile, you have to click the correct number, and then it will open. And I'm thinking, oh my God, if that happens this time, I'm screwed, because it'll lock me out of my account. I won't even have access to Google, because you know how it works. I logged in, no problems, thank goodness. When I try to find the settings to see where the last location of the GPS signal was, there's no history. Why? Because I deactivated that a long time ago, because I don't like Google tracking every move that I make. So therefore, I have no history. But while I was in there, I clicked turn on tracking, so hopefully by tomorrow, I tried to click the button to make the phone activate or something, but it says it could not connect. So my guess is either option A, he destroyed it, which I doubt. Option B, he turned it off. And it was in a plastic pouch, so it should be water resistant, so it should not have died underwater. Anyway, I got no signal from Google or GPS, nothing, but I did activate it. So hopefully tomorrow, if he turns it on, I will have some type of connection, I hope, and then possibly I will know where this thief is hiding. I explained this to the police officers, by the way, who couldn't speak English. I can't speak Tamil. Everything was through body language and super, super simple English, because many people in this area know some English words. It's built into their culture, into their language. Like you hear people speak Tamil and then a couple words are English because it's easier to say that in English than it is in their language, something like that. So anyway, they said goodbye, said thank you, goodbye. They were walking away. I'm looking for my passport and they knock on my door again. Selfie? So they wanted a selfie with me. So obviously I accepted, and then they said their goodbyes. I looked and looked, couldn't find anything. So the first thing I did was went down to the Xerox shop and I asked the people if they had my passport from a month ago. They said no, so that's frustrating. I walked outside and the two police officers were there. I don't know if they followed me there or if they just happened to be in that location at the same time. No idea, weird. Anyway, they're like, oh, did you find it? And I'm like, no. By the way, luckily I had a copy of my passport that I showed them when I was in my room, thank God. Otherwise it really would have gotten weird. They said, okay, come for tea. So we went to a shop nearby. They bought me tea. We talked kind of with body language for 2 minutes, finished the tea, and then they left. So I bought dinner, went back to my room, and I thought I would do one more sweep to find my passport. I knew I wasn't going to find it because I literally checked everywhere. I was beginning to think that after I did the Xerox, I put the passport in my pocket and it fell out before arriving home. So that's what I thought probably happened. But I got back to my room and lo and behold, I found it in this. I seen this earlier. I remember pushing it to the side when I was talking to the police. I went to Chennai for a day and I kept it in this plastic bag in my pocket just in case it started to rain, it wouldn't get wet. So, and I didn't want to keep it in my bag. I just want to keep it in my pocket for thief purposes. So anyway, so it was in here when the police were here. It just turns out that I thought it was garbage inside, and so I pushed it to the side. So thank God I still have my passport. But unfortunately, I don't have my mobile. It was stolen at knife point, and let me tell you, that knife was huge. I don't know how he kept that in his side, but it was a big one. Yeah, so that is my story. Hopefully in the next couple of days, I will hopefully get a signal. Luckily, one man out of all of the internet shops that I went to, which I spent hours and hours walking around to countless shops, and they all denied access, but there was one man who has traveled outside of India before, and he says, yeah, no problem. It's not an internet shop, it's a Xerox shop, but he will let me use his internet. I connected to it, I did a test, and it wasn't very fast. It's about the same speed as my phone, which is super slow. But anyway, I will go back there tomorrow and connect and probably upload this video, something like that. Yeah, and let everybody know that I won't be active on social media for probably a few days now, because unfortunately, now that I don't have internet access and a mobile, I can't keep up with social media and all that fun stuff. Because my mobile, I use the hotspot for my laptop to do everything. But unfortunately, if I don't have a hotspot, if I don't have a mobile, if I don't have a SIM card, I'm screwed. And getting a SIM card in India is, it's just like a nightmare for a foreigner. So luckily I've had many friends who have given me SIM cards, and so I don't know what I'm going to do now. Even if I buy a mobile, I still won't have a SIM card because everyone denies me access. It's happened so many times. They're like, nope, you're a foreigner, we won't give you a SIM card. So what do you do? Some foreigners have got them. I guess every single time I go to every single shop from every single company, I've been denied. Until I buy a new phone and until I have a new SIM, things are gonna be very, very slow for me. Yeah, because just to buy a phone that has enough power to operate all of the things that I need, it's going to cost a few dollars, and I really, really don't want to spend that money while the pandemic is still happening, because I need that money for survival. I need to pay rent, I need to pay for food, I need to pay for transportation and unexpected things, and so I really don't want to spend a lot of money on a phone. But if I buy a phone, I need to spend a decent amount because it has to be strong enough to operate things like the drone. Because if I use a cheap phone that disconnects or can't operate the drone, then I would have just spent money and I can't even use the phone because it's not powerful enough to operate the drone. So I have to throw it away and spend more money to buy another one. So yeah, that's what's happening. That's my life. Do I still think India is safe? Yes. This is not normal, obviously. I've been in India for more than 2 years, traveled all over the north and a lot of places in the south, and this is the first crazy incident that I've had, so don't let that scare you. Just be aware, but there's nothing you can really do. There's no way to prepare for it. You don't just know who's carrying a knife and know who's going to approach you and try to stab you, so there's not a whole lot you can do to prepare for things like this. It's just, no, it just doesn't happen very often. If it does, be smart. Give him all of your shit. If he has a knife, don't try to fight. I really wish he would not have had a knife because he would not have got my cell phone. I can guarantee that. But unfortunately, he had a knife. So if you're listening to this part right now, that means you listened to the entire story. I can't believe you got this far. I will let you go. Thank you all for watching. Remember, Your time is running out. Start living. Take care.